Hey everyone, my name is Sophie Wheeler and I'm an intern for the Office of Sustainability at CSUDH. This presentation, I'm going to go over our upcycle and scrap gardening workshop. So most people are familiar with the term recycling, but what is upcycling? Upcycling is reusing discarded objects or material to produce something new, usually of higher value than the original. Reusing perfectly good objects or materials in a new way, rather than buying them new, helps reduce pollution and waste. Unlike recycling, upcycling retains and sometimes enhances the look and feel of the original object or material. So oftentimes with recycling, they kind of destroy or take apart the old object in order to turn it into the new object. Whereas with upcycling, it's essentially just upgrading. So they kind of keep the same form of the original object, retain everything about it, and just make it new. Upcycling is also a great way to save money. There are many items we use in our daily lives that normally get thrown away but can be easily upcycled. For example, cardboard egg cartons, food containers, coffee or tea tins, paint cans, and even old colanders. And there are many other things that are not even included on this list. All of the above items can be upcycled to make great planters, instead of having to spend money on a new planter or having these items end up in the landfill. So focusing more on planters, if you plan to grow edible plants for human consumption, be aware of the material you're using and make sure to use non-toxic, objects or materials. Avoid plastics or anything with toxins you would not want to ingest. So the cardboard egg carton or coffee tin work great for this. However, if you have an item you want to upcycle that might not be food safe, you can plant something decorative instead. For example, flowers, succulents, native plants, etc. Regardless of what container you pick, ensure drainage. This is very important. If creating holes is not possible, be very careful about your watering habits or just pick plants that can be easily managed, such as succulents, so you can avoid overwatering. Porous surfaces such as cloth and cardboard will let water out, but in the case of cardboard, in the long run, you want to ultimately plant this in the ground as a biodegradable planter. Now let's talk a little bit about scrap gardening. Scrap gardening is growing food from food scraps that would normally be composted or just thrown away and end up in the landfill. There are many benefits of scrap gardening, including it reduces methane emissions that come from food waste. Scrap gardening conserves the energy and resources involved in the growing, transporting, and selling of food. So the whole entire process from when your food is grown on the farm to when it ends up on at your grocery store and ultimately on your kitchen table, a lot of energy and resources are wasted in that process. Scrap gardening also provides starters for gardens instead of having to buy seeds or seedlings. And lastly, everyone's favorite reason, scrap gardening saves money. There are many different plants that will regrow from food scraps, including but not limited to onions and green onions, celery, romaine lettuce or cabbage, garlic, ginger, potato or sweet potato, basil, cilantro, carrots, and beets. On this slide, you can see this really cute infographic that kind of goes step by step on the process of scrap gardening, and most plants will regrow following the steps below. So you can see here with the romaine lettuce, you just have to put the little end of the lettuce into a bowl of water, change the water every day, make sure it gets some sun, and once it starts to sprout, go ahead and put that sucker outside. And similar process here with the potatoes. So like I said, most plants will regrow following either of these two steps below. Now that you're familiar with upcycled planters and the process of scrap gardening, you can make your own planters at home and start growing. So try this. Next time you cook a meal at home, Save whatever produce scraps you can and start your own food scraps garden. I think you might be pretty surprised at how many scraps you actually produce and that can be regrown using the scrap gardening method. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any further questions or comments, you can contact the Sustainability Club at CSUDH Sustainability1 at gmail.com or www.csudh.edu/sustainability. Thanks so much.